Hello, hello.
Test.
Testing, testing. Hello, hello. What's up, guys? This is Obi. Welcome to Town Square today on this rainy day. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Let's blame it on the rain, right?
That's right.
Today we have our special guest is Justin Smith with the Russellville Fire Department, and he's the deputy fire marshal. But before we get into talking to him and his amazing story, today our podcast is brought to you by Black Belt Logistics and Roy's Heating and Cooling. You guys go ahead and give them a call if you need to transport any commercial equipment or whatnot. Get in touch with Black Belt Logistics. And right now, with the cold weather, if that heater's not working or whatnot, go ahead and call Roy's Heating and Cooling, and I'm sure they're gonna come out and help you out and at least give you some good advice on what you need to do. And well, welcome to the podcast, Justin. I was gonna say Ryan, my bad.
Oh, you're good. Thanks.
Justin, I know that you were saying that this might be a little
Yeah.
intimidating, but you know what? It's just two guys chatting, talking about life and and what we do. So, tell us a little bit about yourself. Are you local? Were you born here?
Yeah, I am. I was born just right down the road at St. Mary's Hospital.
Okay.
Lived in Dardanelle pretty much my whole life. Went to school, kindergarten through 12th there. Stayed in Dardanelle till I was in my 20s. Moved here to Russellville for a few years, and then currently I'm back in Dardanelle. So
Yeah.
everything in the whole River Valley is home to me
Yeah.
and stuff. I've just been here my whole
So you
life.
just moved across the bridge,
Just
started
across the
now with
bridge,
them?
back and forth. Yeah. Yep. That's it.
Yeah. I don't want to put you in this position, but do you have a favorite?
No,
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 no.
no. I love both of them. Just the small town feel of everything. Everybody knows everybody. Most
Yeah.
everywhere you go and stuff, and just love all the amenities and everything there is to do around here.
Yeah, I go to Dardanelle at least once or twice. Not to go visit, but to eat. I go to the what is it, the Plaza Mexicana
Mm-hmm.
for the menudo, like on a
Gotcha.
Saturday morning. And then I get toasted bread and the Coca Cola. It's just one of those things
Oh
that
yeah.
I saw growing up with my parents, like the menudo and stuff. So yeah, shout out to Plaza Mexicana. I mean, out there for that.
Yeah.
Have you had menudo?
I have not.
No, it's like
I
a
have not.
red soup with. I mean, if you describe it, it might sound like, oh, what is that? But it's like, um, I believe it's cow stomach cut
Gotcha.
into. I don't know if you guys have that, but
I haven't had it, but I'm open for
you
anything.
tried it. I mean,
Oh yeah,
have you had
absolutely.
pozole? Pozole is the green with chicken and some like.
No.
They'll put that hominy in there. Okay.
Yeah, I've had some of
All
that.
right,
But
so I guess I'm gonna
I'm
mention another restaurant, which
yeah.
is La Huerta. I've
Oh
had
yeah.
it there, and it's
Yeah.
pretty good. Pozole, which is
Okay.
chicken with some like kind of green broth, soup thing with hominy, and then with tortillas. It's pretty good. It's good for this. Maybe that's what I'm talking about. Is for this kind of weather.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
So you should try it. So you grew up here in Russellville, Dardanelle, moved back and forth, and so um, how did you? What was the process to becoming what you are now with the department?
So growing up, I was an only child. Had my mom and dad around. They worked blue collar family and stuff, typical stuff. But I was always interested in doing something in public service, helping people.
Yeah,
My dad was, a mechanic his whole life, and my mom worked in a pharmacy doing stuff that way. So both of them kind of help people in some form or fashion. But I knew I wanted to do something, whether it be fire related, police related, something in that form. And I was in high school, I guess a junior, maybe senior in high school, and in Dardanelle at the time, the local volunteer fire department actually came to me because I knew the chief at the time, and he said they were interested in doing like an explorer program for the youth that might be interested in doing something like that, and if I'd be interested in joining and learning about the whole fire service, firefighting skills, this and that. I just couldn't legally fight fire at that time because I was still under the age of 18, but that kind of got the whole ball rolling and everything and stuff. Became an explorer through the fire department at 17 years old, and then just kind of stuck with it for a few years. Stepped out a year or two after graduation stuff. Went to Arkansas Tech for a little bit, and got back into it volunteering again, and then that's when I decided that this is something I think I really want to do, and So I tested at Russellville, went through the whole testing process. There's a written exam and then a physical agility test that you've got to go through. And then if you pass those, you get an interview with the Civil Service Commission. Once you do that, you get put on a list, and they rank you that way, and that list is good for 2 years. Same process we go through today. Went through that, got on the list. Time expired. I didn't get hired. Came back again and tested the second time and got on a list, and then and got hired. And I've loved it every minute of it since. This year be 17 years that I've been
Wow.
here now. So
So straight out of high school.
it was a few years out of high school.
Yeah,
I did a few other adventures out of high school for a little bit, but when I hired on, I was I think I was 24,
Okay.
25 when I hired on. So.
All right. So you were doing other things while getting ready to get into this career.
Yeah, I learned to. The first time I tested, I learned a lot about the whole physical agility and then the testing process and stuff. So it was a bit of a struggle the first time, but got through it. And then when I came back second time, I had my mindset that I was going to be much more prepared for
That's
that one and
great.
stuff. And fortunately, I got hired on.
So you got hired on, and so is there levels, right?
There is. Everybody starts out your first year. You're considered a rookie or a probationary firefighter and stuff. So you've got a lot of stuff to do your first year. If you're not certified already, you've got to become a certified firefighter. That entails 11 to 13 weeks at the Arkansas Fire Academy, which is in Camden, Arkansas. You do that, you become firefighter 1, firefighter 2 certified, driver operator, so you can actually run the pumps on the vehicles that way. And then you go through some basic hazmat awareness and operations classes, and you get all those certifications. And then also within that first year, if you're not already an EMT, you've got to go to EMT school, emergency medical technician.
Okay.
It's a job requirement that everybody's at least EMT level on the department. So
Wow.
it's a pretty busy first year.
I'm sure. Yeah. So
And,
I mean,
and then once you get through that, you become the rank of a firefighter. You do that for a few years, and then you're eligible for promotion for the next step up, which is engineer or the driver operator of the engine. And then you do that, and then you can promote to a captain, and then above that is just a battalion chief. As far as a rank structure, I'm a captain now, but I was fortunate a few years ago to get into the office of the fire marshal and do that side of things. So by title, I'm a deputy fire marshal.
wow. So from rookie to captain, how long did that take?
That took me. I became a captain, I guess, almost 2 years ago now. So 14 and a half years. So, and there's a line side captain, which is the operations side. That's the guys that you'll see on the ambulances or the fire engines or the ladder truck. And then my position is kind of considered an administrative position. So I had not only did I have the typical things, but I had several other classes that I had to do. Part of that was attending the National Fire Academy in Emmitsburg, Maryland. I went 6 years there for different classes to get certifications to be anywhere from plan review for life safety issues. So any project that comes into the city of Russellville, that comes through the fire marshal's office, through the fire department, and we review all that, make sure it's safe and built to code standards, and then just the typical other duties of a fire marshal is the origin and cause investigations for fire, arson, or explosives. Anytime that there's a fire, we'll do an investigation of it.
Wow. And then the 6 years, was that you had to move out there?
No,
Was it
it's
remote?
so
Visit?
it's each class is anywhere from 6 to 10 days at a time.
Okay.
But then they have a fiscal year thing that you have to apply for to go to it, and it's one of those things that it falls in a category that you can basically only do it once a year, or if you do it twice a year, then it starts costing you money out of your own pocket and stuff. But it's one of those things that it's a good networking thing to go, because you get to see people from literally. I've been in class from guys literally all over the United States, from every fire department you can think of, and so even when you leave, you can, if you've got questions or you see something along the way, you can reach out to one of your buddies and stuff and bounce some ideas off of each other and stuff, and you get some good feedback that way.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So pretty much going out to do that was just a few days out of
About a week at a time. Yeah.
Okay.
There's one of the classes, the main investigation class of the fire and arson and explosives and everything that way, it was 2 full weeks of work
Okay.
for that. So.
Now, when you're doing all this, getting ready, studying, like, what's something that stood out to you that you maybe hadn't come across in your career path? Anything that was like, whoa, like for example, arson, or I don't know if you guys even bombs. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like what's
it's I guess it doesn't really matter what class I was in and what it even related to. There's people all over the United States that they still deal with some of the same things that we deal with here
Yeah.
and stuff. It's like we'll run across a case on whether we're looking at plans on something, or if it's something that we've seen in a fire, some sort of a fire protection system, and we're seeing something like, man, what in the world is this, or where did somebody even come up with that and something, or how did that happen? And I can text one of the guys I've been in class with and stuff. We talk literally every week and stuff. Oh yeah, I've seen this whatever before and stuff, and they can give me a point of view that I've never even looked at or thought of before and stuff. So
wow. And what goes through your head, or maybe some of your colleagues? There's a fire. I mean, you might have to run in there. Like, how do you prepare mentally? What, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's one of those things that it's kind of hard to describe. You know, you go through all this training and you'll do scenario based trainings throughout a year, and you'll think of every scenario you can think of, and you know exactly what you're gonna do or how to perform at this fire and stuff, and then you get there and it pretty much all goes out the window half the time and stuff. You know, it's one of those things we preach and preach and preach. Don't get tunnel vision and wrapped up like a moth to a flame and stuff, and forget everything going on around you. But at the same time and stuff, you've taken an oath and you've got a job to do and stuff, and you go in. It's our dispatch system does a really good job as far as when we're en route, kind of giving us some details of whether or not everybody's out of the house, or if there's potentially somebody still trapped inside and stuff. And that's when things kind of start shifting gears and stuff,
okay.
and you might get hyped up a little bit more that
So
way.
on
and
the
stuff,
way, you're getting kind of,
but
like,
you're getting a lot of information on the
so
way
you
and
can mentally
stuff.
prepare
Right.
and what to expect when you get there.
Right, and then when you've got a captain up in the front seat that's over that captain is over that particular station, and that group that's responding, and that piece of apparatus and stuff, that's all running through his mind and stuff, and he's creating a game plan on the way and stuff. He's communicating to his driver, you know, maybe the best way to pull up to a place and stage, and then the firefighter, he's telling him what he needs right then and stuff, and then he's sizing up the situation and giving a radio report to all other incoming units. Okay, here's a set of eyes on it. Here's exactly what we've got and what we need from everybody else.
Okay. What's a recommendation you can tell anyone watching, like a family, like, they're asleep in the middle of the night, they smell something burning, or, I mean, what's the...
We talk to from kindergartners through fourth grade every year in the schools during Fire Prevention Week in October. Smoke alarms. Smoke alarms still save lives. Still the number one life-saving thing that you can have in a house. And just a working smoke alarms right outside of your sleeping areas. And again, like talking about how I do plan review and stuff. Anytime I know you're in the process of a new house and stuff, there's a code on where they're supposed to be placed and stuff. And so we look at that and make sure that's done for those safe reasons and stuff, and testing them and making sure they work. And so if something was to happen in the middle of the night or something that way, it's we don't want to start. We tell the homeowners and occupants, don't go investigate and everything and stuff. If you hear the sound and you know it shouldn't be going off, get out of the house. Stay low, get out of the house. And then we say it's really important for everybody to have just a specific meeting place somewhere. So when we pull up on scene, we can find the adults of the house and say, is everyone here? Are you missing anyone and stuff? And because that kind of dictates what we do next. If we can make contact with you and say, hey, my family's here, we're all good, then we're gonna start pulling hose off the truck and start going in and fighting fire. If we don't have anyone there, or if we talk to someone and someone's missing, that hose isn't coming off the truck yet, but you still got guys that are going through the front door. They're going to look for somebody and stuff. So it's one of those things that it's really important that we try to tell everybody to get out and go to a meeting place and stuff.
I think that's very important to plan with the family, because I hadn't thought of that. I mean, I don't think none of us are like, what's going to be the plan if there's a fire, or... I mean, I don't think we'll have earthquakes here, but
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, but the tornado,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
right? So I think it's a good idea to, at least with my family, hey, in case of a tornado or fire, if you can escape,
Absolutely, absolutely. Any
and
way
we'll find
possible,
you
any way
at the meeting
possible, and
place.
stuff. And it's one of those things too that which, we think most of the time if it's a fire and it's scary, people are going to be yelling and screaming and stuff, which is a good thing. You
Yeah.
want to make noise and stuff so everybody knows where everybody's at and stuff. It's we have to tell the kids and stuff when we go to the schools that once you get out, that's the key thing is get out. But then the number two thing is stay out. They'll get outside and realize that they've either left a pet inside or a favorite stuffed animal or a favorite toy or something. That when they want to go back in and get it, don't go back in and get it and stuff. And
Yeah.
when we tell them, parents have a really cool thing on a house called insurance and stuff. You're gonna get something brand new out of the deal
Yeah,
and stuff, not
true.
not something that's been burned or smoke damaged and stuff. But and adults and stuff, it's really sad. We read about it every year and stuff, but they'll get out and realize either a pet or even a child or something's been left behind, and they'll go back in after them and stuff, and usually the parent won't even make it back out
Yeah.
and stuff. It's the smoke and heated smoke and toxins in it is so bad and stuff that one breath can
Yeah, I can
kill you.
imagine.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I've been around. I remember this one time we were in Mexico driving, and there's a car on fire, and I felt like we were far enough, but just the car on fire, you could feel the heat through the
Oh, yeah.
windows, and you can smell the tires and everything. So just imagine a house and you're this close.
Yeah, yeah. So on a house fire, if it's what we call fully involved, where everything's on fire at one time and stuff, it's easily 12, 14, 1500 degrees inside.
Wow.
When we go in our protective gear and stuff, and we're putting fire out and stuff, it's easily 6, 7, 800 degrees in there.
Wow.
So we've got layers of protection on, but we can
Still hot.
we still get hot and can even get burnt and stuff when we're in there.
Wow. No, I mean, I got to give it up to you guys. You guys are local heroes, man. I don't think I would go in a fire, I mean, it depends, right? I mean, if it was like a child still, you got to do what you got to do.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll leave other stuff like a teddy bear, whatnot, money, I mean, that could be replaceable,
Yep.
but not your own life,
Yeah,
So
that's exactly it.
something to think about.
Everything's replaceable except for the human life.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, I mean, I think that so far, I mean, you've had an incredible journey with your career and everything. But I had invited you because I know that you had a what would you call it, incident or a medical emergency that you
I did.
had a few years back, right?
In 2023, September of
2023, so
2023. Yeah,
that was-
just about 16 months ago.
Wow, so not even 2 years. So I wanted you to come because I thought it was a very interesting story and like how it all went down, and like now you're here to share it, and you even brought some information. Now you said this month is an awareness month for
Yeah. Yep, February is the National Heart Awareness Month or Heart Healthy Month and stuff that way. So yeah, it part of the thing the fire department is we're not just fire. Actually, a lot of people may not realize the majority of everything we do is medical calls. We have an ambulance service that runs out of the fire department now. We do the treatment and transport for the city limits of Russellville. And so we run on medical calls throughout the year, a lot of chest pains, a lot of heart-related issues, or what we call cardiovascular issues. And so kind of used to that. We go to school on it, we train on it, we learn a lot of things and stuff. We know the signs and symptoms that maybe people don't know, and then how to try to prevent something from happening. And then sometimes even when you think you know what to do and are doing your best effort, it can still get you.
Yeah.
And that was my case in September. It all started on a Monday, September 25th of 2023. I was in our workout room at the station, just like I do every day, doing my typical just kind of workout routine during my lunch break. That particular day, I was on a treadmill, going back and forth, just between jogging and walking, just back and forth. I typically jog for 8-10 minutes at a time, and then I'd walk for about 2 minutes, and then I'd pick the pace back up and just go back and forth. And normal day, nothing out of the ordinary going on, running, and then I'd been about 20 or 30 minutes in and realized during one of my jogging sessions, I was like, I'm just kind of getting a little bit tired, short of breath and stuff, and And I thought maybe I was just getting a little sick or coming down with something, or maybe I just overdid it on the
Yeah.
weekend and stuff, you know. So I backed it down to a walk and started walking, trying to get my breath back, just a little short of breath, messing with the TV, changing the music and something that way. And I realized that, you know, I'm walking, typically walking for about 2 minutes and get my breath back and I'm ready to go. And I'm not getting my breath back. And then I looked down on my timer and I had been walking for over 8 minutes already and stuff, you know, 4 times as long, and I'm still not doing that. It's like something's not right. So I turn everything off and I just sit down on one of the weight benches and I just rest for 5, 10 minutes or something. I got my breath back and felt better then. I was like, and for whatever reason, I guess I was smart enough to stop there and stuff. And like, I'm just going to call it a day here.
Yeah.
And so I went back to my room, got all my stuff, grabbed a shower real quick, went changed clothes, and my office is on the third floor of the station, and our gym's on the second floor. So left the room and went back up the stairs, just one flight of stairs to the third floor to my office. And when I made it to the top of the stairwell and reached for the door, I got really lightheaded for just a minute, and I went into full body sweats for maybe 30 to 40 seconds, and just felt really bad. I was like, I mean, I had to hold on to the door for a minute before I could even go in. And went and sat in my office, and I remember the other deputy fire marshal that's beside me, Ken. My office is right before his, but I was walking to my office, and I was like, man, I don't feel good. I said, I just had a workout and stuff, but just went into like body sweats for a minute and stuff and just don't feel good. And so I was sitting there taking a break for a minute, and then he gets up and walks out of his office and comes right past my door and walks by and looks at me, and then he walks on, and then he stops and backs up and like kind of looks in. He's like, dude, you look like death. It's like, well, hey, I appreciate that, you know, nothing out of the ordinary and stuff or whatever, but, you know, I'm like, I'm not feeling good and stuff. He's like, what's wrong with you? And I told him what had happened then, and he walked out, and then I don't know where he went, but just a couple minutes later, I remember hearing our ambulance pull back into the station. They'd come back from a medical call, and within just a couple minutes, I heard all kinds of boots just hitting the stairs, coming up the stairwell behind my office. And I'm like, what in the world's going on? And then I get bombarded in my office with the guys that I work with and stuff. They got a heart monitor. They got everything. They put me on the monitor. They start looking at my heart, taking my blood pressure, taking my blood glucose, my oxygen level and everything. And everything's looking pretty good and stuff. You know, they're saying nothing really out of the ordinary and stuff, but I was describing to them kind of just what I'd gone through and stuff. And they convinced me to, you know, you probably need to call your doctor and just get further tests and stuff. But right now, everything's looking pretty good and stuff. So I went home that night and just wasn't really feeling good. Kind of had one or two other episodes where I got like a little bit short of breath, but nothing just crazy. And then I called. I told my wife that night and stuff, and she said, well, you probably need to call the doctor and stuff. So the next day, Tuesday, I called and got an appointment, and Friday morning was when I was going to get to the doctor. Didn't work out anymore the rest of the week, just kind of took it easy, but I noticed like if I was walking upstairs or something, I was getting short of breath again just a little bit, nothing crazy. But that happened. So Friday morning, had my appointment set, and right before my appointment, there was a motor vehicle accident with somebody entrapped in it. And I responded to help the guys out and stuff, and wind up, we were going to fly that patient out on survival flight on the helicopter and stuff. So I established a landing zone, cordoned off an area to keep the public away and stuff, and got a safe place for the helicopter to land. And I was running back and forth, kind of moving some stuff, and got really short of breath then, to the point I thought I was almost going to pass out, and I've never been that way before. And, you know, got the patient out, flew them out and everything and stuff, and I jumped in the truck and was like, it's time to go to my appointment, figure out what's going on and stuff. So rushed over there. They already kind of had a heads up a little bit. Told them what I was going through and stuff, and a little bit of my family history with some cardiac issues and stuff. And at the time, I still tell myself that's not what it is; it's something else.
Yeah.
But they hooked a 12 lead up to me, heart monitor 12 lead, looked at everything, and she came back in a few minutes later, and she's like, all right, tell me what's going on. She said, because I'm looking at your EKG, and it's not terrible. She said, it's not quite where I want to see it, but it's not terrible. And so I started describing what all I've been going through and stuff. And she said, I've already got St. Mary's on standby to have a full blood workup, CT scan, a contrast, a dye test, and everything. She said, I want to go ahead and have you go over there and stuff. She said, I don't like what I see exactly. So went over there, did all that. They were waiting on me when I got there. Did all that. Went back to my office, and I got a call within about. It was actually a phone call from my wife. I'd missed the call from the doctor, and so then she called my wife, and my wife, I got a hold of her, and she said, "Hey, she's trying to get a hold of you. Something's going on with your stuff." So I called her, and I said, "Hey, what's up?" And she said, I haven't got your dye test back. I haven't got your CT scan back." She said, "All I've got your blood workup, your critical blood workup." And I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, what's that say?" She said, "You're having a heart attack." I said, "No, I'm not." She said, "No, you got to get to an ER right now. You're having a heart attack." And I said, "No, I'm not. I'm fine." And so that whole kind of, even what we learn about and stuff as EMTs and stuff, the different phases that people go through. I was going through the denial phase and stuff,
Yeah.
and that's typical of that and stuff. And she told me a little bit about my blood workup and stuff. And I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, I'll see what I can do and stuff." And she said, "No, you've got to go." And so I went back down the hallway to our EMS director, Chief Perry, and I said, "Hey, you got just a second?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "I want to run something by you." And he said, "What you got?" And I said, "What can you tell me about troponin?" And he said, "Well, it's a protein in the heart and stuff." And he looked and said, "What do you know about troponin? You're just an EMT." And I said, "Pretty much exactly what you told me, that it's a protein in the heart, and that, like, it gets released during certain things that people go through. A lot of times you'll see it sometimes if somebody's in end-stage renal failure, or it's kind of indicative of somebody having a heart attack." And he said, "But the numbers are elevated." And I said, he said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, so what's your question?" I said, "Well, what's an elevated number?" And he said, "Well, who has elevated troponin?" I said, "I do." And he said, "How would you ever know that? You can't get that in just a typical blood workup." And I said, "No, I just had a special blood workup and stuff, and they said my numbers are elevated." And he said, How elevated are we talking about?" And I said, "Well, how elevated is elevated and stuff?" And he said, zero to 0 point something is like normal. I don't remember what he said. He's like, "Anything above zero is elevated. So if it's above zero, it's elevated." I said, "Okay." And I think the look on my face kind of gave it away, because he kind of put his laptop down, and he said, "How elevated are you?" And I said, "My numbers are 3,452.
Wow.
And so what I have learned then was, I had gone through a heart attack. I guess it had initially started that Monday, and my body had dumped all the troponin out of the heart into the body. And that protein is what they say is that's basically a last ditch effort to preserve vital organs and try to save what you've got and stuff before anything happens. So he grabbed me real quick and stuff. He said, "Can you even stand up?" And I said, "Yeah, I can walk. I just get a little bit short of breath after stuff." He said, "Good. Get in the truck. We're going for a ride." And I said, "Well, where are we going?" He said, "We're going back to St. Mary's."
Wow.
And got to the ER, and they checked me in a room, and I was just bombarded with doctors. There were a few things that happened right after that I got different tests, and then ultimately went to a heart cath. And within an hour of going in, I was on the helicopter. The very next flight, on survival flight, I was on my way to Little Rock.
Wow. Wow. So is it safe to say that you being around the 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 building, the fire department building, and everybody being there, they all played part in saving your life?
Oh, absolutely.
Like if it was
Yeah.
another situation, you're probably out there, outer city limits, and you're feeling like that, and you're not surrounded by professionals. You think that would have been like it
Yeah,
for you?
it's and when I got to the ER and I was in the heart cath room, so the heart cath is, they go in my wrist, and they run a scope all the way up through my arteries, and they start looking at the heart, all the different arteries and things that way, and they can see blockages that way. That's what my issue was. And I remember at that point looking over at the screen, because of my past history. My father, grandfather, uncles and stuff, they've all had cardiac issues and stuff, so I kind of knew what to look at and stuff. And I remember seeing a spot then, and it was kind of starting to sink in a little bit, like, this is kind of real, and I think I'm probably about to get like a stent put in or something that way. But they told me then, they're like, He said, "I'll be right back." He said, "I got to go make a phone call." And which before that, I was a cardiologist, and he had his tech that was with him. And I'll never forget him talking to him and saying, "Look, I've never seen anything like this before." And I thought, well, that's not good, you know?
Yeah.
And he said, "I got to make a phone call." And then at that point, that's when he came back and said, "I've just got off the phone with 4 separate surgeons, and they're all in agreement that you need to get to the hospital now and get ready for open heart surgery, for bypass surgery." And again, I was telling him, I was like, "No, you don't understand. This is Friday afternoon. My kids are in school. They don't have a clue what's going on. That
Yeah.
Dad's here or anything and stuff. And you're wanting me to go right now." I said, "I'll go home. I'll rest over the weekend. I won't do anything, exert any force or anything, and I'll go Monday down there or whatever." And then that's when he told me, he said, "You don't have to Monday."
Wow.
And stuff. And that's when I've kind of learned a little bit more and stuff that I was down toward. I was at the very end before.
And then what's going through your mind? We were getting all this news, and there someone telling you you don't have till Monday. Like,
Right.
what's going through your mind?
Yeah, it's one of those things that again with my family's history and stuff, it all kind of stems back to when I was 8 years old. My dad was 36 at the time, and we were playing baseball in the backyard at my grandma's house, and he had a massive heart attack. He was rushed to Little Rock. He underwent open heart surgery with a triple bypass. And when I was 36 years old, one of my sons was 10, and the other one, or maybe he was 11, and the other one was 7. And we're out in the yard at the house playing baseball, and it just flashed in front of my eyes like I'm the same age I was with my dad had his first one. My sons are almost at the same age I am. We're playing baseball, and at this point, I'm in about the worst physical shape I've ever been in my life. So at that point, I decided that it was time to make a change, not for me, but for them.
Yeah.
And so the 4 years leading up to my heart attack, got on a pretty strict diet, and it was just clean eating,
Yeah.
not so much junk food all the time or sweets or deep fried, all the good stuff.
Yeah.
I really cut it down. A lot of the fast food restaurants I cut out almost completely. Just clean eating, and then just started doing some sort of physical activity every day and stuff. And wound up, I'd drop 5 or 6 pounds here and there and stuff, and I'd feel good for a while, but I'd put it back on. But when I really dedicated myself, I dropped 45 pounds in about 7 months, and then I had kept almost every single bit of it off that entire 4 years when it got me and stuff. So you can tell yourself that you're prepared for it, and you've taken all the steps, and I'd even kind of joked about in the past with my wife about something's probably going to happen to me, and she, "No, you don't say that," and stuff. I said,
Yeah.
"Well, can't worry about it or stress about it, because that only makes it worse. And I work in the absolute best place if something was to happen to me, that I know these guys would take great care of me and stuff, and I would have a good chance at it and stuff." But even all the preparation for those years and saying you're ready, if something was to happen, that moment that it actually happens, you're not anywhere near prepared for what's crashing down on top of you at that time.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's just, I don't know how I would have taken it, because I'm like, hey, I'm over here getting healthy the last 4 years,
Yeah.
and then it happens.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
then not getting to see your kids, and you get to see your wife for just a couple minutes here and there and stuff. But other than that, it's just like your whole world's literally crashing down around you at that moment and stuff, and not knowing if you've got a few minutes or if you've got time to fly to Little Rock, or if you're gonna make it through surgery and stuff that way. It's just all the different roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah.
Going
But
back
at that moment, you're feeling, I can go through this. I'm strong enough. I can wait till Monday. That's what,
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
your mind and body telling me. I
Before I knew all of that and stuff, I was in my mind it was that whole denial stage and stuff, and then just telling myself, it's gonna be alright. I want to spend time with my family and stuff, and prepare them for maybe what's about to happen or something that way. But things are gonna be all right, and
everybody else
things
like,
weren't
no,
all right.
man,
Yeah.
you have to go now.
Yeah, and to kind of bring that part all full circle, what I learned about after the fact was what the cardiologist said he had never seen before. So my diagnosis was coronary artery disease, and I had left coronary artery was 100% blocked. My right coronary artery was 65% blocked, and then my left anterior descending the abbreviation's LAD, but most people, if you ever hear of heart attacks and stuff, everybody talks about the widowmaker and stuff. If you have the widowmaker 100% blocked, your chance of survival is only 9 to 12%. So my widowmaker was, he said, greater than 95% blocked.
Wow.
And what he had never seen before was, he said that my left coronary that was 100% blocked, he said he could tell by looking at whatever through the scope that it had been 95% for a long time and stuff. And then but at some point in time, my right coronary artery had branched off and essentially created its very own natural bypass to my left coronary. So it had been supplementing with blood flow and stuff for a number of years. And when the plaque or whatever broke loose and then went 100% blocked in that left coronary, then the right and everything, my body basically was just like tapping out and saying, I can't do anymore. I've supplemented all I can, but I can't go anymore. And he said, had that not branched off at some point in time and assisting it, that when everything happened that Monday, he said I would have been dead before I ever even hit the floor.
Wow.
So
That is crazy. I mean, just receiving that news. And
yeah.
I mean, but obviously there's a plan, there was the right people around, and like even the surgeons, the doctors, like, you need to come now, you know. So 16 months ago, this happens. And how has life been after the fact? Like, do you have a new appreciation on life, on things that you didn't kind of think about before? Do you think about them now?
Yeah, it's, I mean, I tell everybody I'm blessed for every single day that I've got here and stuff, and I don't take any of it for granted. I would like to say that in this last 16 months that I'm in the best shape I've ever even been since beforehand. I'm not. It's a struggle. Whether it's medication that I'm on now that I wasn't on before, some of the side effects of it and what it does to my body, or just some of I went to a full cardiac rehab program when I came back and stuff too. So the heart, they say, is as good as it ever was. Had very minimal damage on my heart, so they said it's fine. But you still got I guess I've got a lot of mental things that kind of, I think about a lot of things. And during the day, I'm pretty busy with all kinds of stuff, just on the go here or there, talking to people, playing with the kids, being with my wife, whatever, just all the fun stuff. But then at night, when it's time to go to bed and the lights go out and it gets quiet and stuff, then your mind kind of starts rolling back and stuff, and you start thinking about things, or you may feel a little something that's weird that you probably felt a million times before, but never noticed it until now. And then that kind of starts, what's that? What's going on now? And I'll get up every now and then and stuff. I'll slap a blood pressure cuff on. I'll check my blood pressure and stuff and see where I'm sitting. And it's, as good as it can be asked for. My pulse rate's good and stuff, but it's just things that I worry about and stuff. But it's there's a whole new perspective on life for sure, though.
Definitely. Is there, for example, there's some of us that probably are thinking that breath I took, or I felt some jiggle in my chest, is, which is safe to say to, like, hey, go check yourself out. See, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we wait till the last minute where it's like,
absolutely. And that's one of the things that like one of the things that I was going to bring up today and talk about is just taking that first step and just getting checked out and stuff. I've been an EMT for 16 years and stuff, and studied all this stuff, whatever. I didn't present with the typical signs and symptoms of a heart attack. You'll hear people talk about people that have gone through heart attacks before and cardiac issues and stuff, that it feels like an elephant sitting on your chest. You just got a crushing chest pain, or just a heaviness, a tension on your chest, or maybe a knife just stabbing in your chest. You'll have a pain in your jaw, into your neck, and then what we say is typically a telltale sign is you've got that crushing chest pain, and then it radiates all the way down your left arm into your hand and stuff. I had none of that. I had about 40 seconds of body sweats when I reached that stairwell, but I just finished a workout. I didn't think anything to it, but I would, whenever I'd exert any type of energy at all, stairs, long distance walks, just try to move real fast, I'd get just a little bit short of breath. And then the best way I could describe it is like this really cold weather that we have and stuff. If you're out doing something and you're breathing in, you get that burning sensation in your lungs. I would get it right at the base of my throat, and that is the only symptoms I had was just a little bit of shortness of breath on exertion, and when that happened, a burning sensation in my throat, and I could stop, sit down, stand up, whatever, rest for about a minute or two, and I was perfectly fine and stuff. And I've learned since then that that's actually, for whatever reason, that's kind of typical of the way a female would present a heart attack and stuff. The males typically have more of the crushing chest pain, the left arm radiation pain and stuff, but the females don't typically have all of that.
So pretty much, pretty much, I mean, like you said, you had all of the opposite signs. So someone that, I mean, I think sometimes common sense and then your own self can tell you, maybe I should go, maybe listen to yourself. I mean, because I'm sure you were thinking about it, but you're like, hey, this is not the typical stuff.
Right.
It's just like I ran out of breath.
Right. Yeah. It's I've grown up with all this stuff, and still, and I was like, no, that's it's not me. That's not what it is. It's just something else going on and stuff. So, I think it's just a fantastic idea for people just to call your local doctor, and just even right now, just one visit right now, and get a blood workup, check your cholesterol levels, check your triglyceride levels, let them listen to your heart or look at your heart, put on an EKG, something test just to look at it and see where you're at. And then if everything comes back good, then it's 2, maybe 3 years down the line, just have it again. But if they see something then, there's no better time than right now when you discover it to start trying to take steps into correcting it and figure out what to do. And it could be as simple as just as simple as a change in your diet and a little bit of an exercise routine, 15, 20 minutes a day, to where they can prescribe some medications that could help change the effects of something. But just early detection and just getting that initial test done just to check.
Now, I know we all do the physicals every year, right? I think we do it. We do it every year. Yeah, every year. Now, is there a special test we can do? Like, let's say if we have history of cardiac issues with family members.
That's just you can just. I mean, I don't know all the different things they can do, but just telling a family physician that either you've got some family members in the past that have had this, or you're not sure that you've ever had anything like that done or whatever, but just you want to check maybe some cholesterol levels or something, or in the blood, just have a blood workup just to see an overall heart health stuff. I mean, there's even programs out there. There's one of the places in Arkansas that they have a program, and it's not that I'm endorsing it or anything. I've never even had it done, but I've heard about it. It's I think it's through Arkansas Heart. They've got something that's called like a Save the Beat, or Save the Heart, or Save the Beat program. And because my dad had been to that hospital in the past, and I remember several years ago, it was just like a little special thing they were going to do for a short period of time, and it's been so popular that it still goes, but it's like $99, and they'll put you in the machine that wraps around you in a tube and everything, and they can literally watch they can see your heart, so it's like its own x-ray of the heart, the movements of it, everything, and if there's any underlying thing that is a risk at that time and stuff, and it's $100 and stuff, and they can tell you.
Wow, $100.
Tell you all kinds of stuff. One of the things they were telling me was one of their success stories was they had a patient come in and stuff, and they said he was so large that he could barely even fit in the machine, and they did everything, and they said he had the heart of like a 20-year-old kid and stuff. Is perfect, textbook perfect heart health. And then they had another guy that was in his early mid-30s, 5'5", 5'6", 130 pounds, and he's a marathon runner. Goes to multiple marathons all over the United States, and his wife or girlfriend had bought him that as a Valentine's present, and they put him in there, and they said we could not get him out of the tube and onto an operating table soon enough. They said he was literally about to. Just his heart was about to explode at any second, and they did open heart surgery on him and stuff. Who you would think would be the healthiest of anybody and stuff, and they said it was a race to get him on a heart operating table and get him taken care of and stuff, and it's all from just a $100 test that they could tell every little detail about your heart.
Wow, makes me want to go take it.
So there's all kinds of things out there. Just talking to your family physician, or even some online searches of stuff on heart health and different tests that can be done just to see where you're at.
Yeah. What's incredible to me is how your heart is fighting for you even before you figure it out or
Yeah.
notice it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's incredible. That's like
Yeah.
an incredible machine in there. Like
Yeah.
okay,
It's
can't
it's
flow.
the it's the engine to the body, like the engine to the car of a
Yeah.
vehicle and stuff. It's what pumps the blood, the oxygenated blood throughout the entire body, and then what recovers it back in, and then does that process of just exchange of oxygen and back and forth, and makes the body work.
Man, man, that's incredible. And you brought some information for us today. I know that this month is an awareness month for the heart.
Yeah.
So what can
Yeah,
you share
it was
with
just
us?
it was just one of those things. You kind of hear about it a lot and stuff, but maybe some people don't quite understand just how important it is and stuff. And some of the statistics I've seen are the latest ones are from 2022 and stuff. And what we talk about like cardiovascular disease or heart disease, that is anything that has to do with the heart at all, whether it be a heart attack, just a coronary artery disease. You've got arrhythmias where the heart's not beating in a typical thing. And so what they have for statistics is that any type of cardiovascular disease has been for a number of years and is still the number one killer of men, women, and most ethnic groups. So of all the deaths in the United States each year, about 18% of those are deaths in the white community. 22.5% is the African American community, about 12% is the Hispanic community. So when they kind of start looking at that and talking about it and stuff, they talk about those different, yeah, well, that's the leading cause and stuff. Well, there's all kinds of different things. There's cancers and accident stuff, whatever. But then when they start breaking it down and stuff, and they say one person dies from a cardiac event every 33 seconds. That's where it can kind of start grabbing people's attention that way and stuff. In the year 2022, there were 702,880 recorded deaths from just heart disease in general. And that, breaking it down to that whole statistic of everything and stuff, that's 1 in 5 deaths is heart-related. What I have, the coronary artery disease, and that is the buildup of plaque inside the arteries and stuff. It starts constricting the blood flow down, and that's the heart trying to pump out the oxygenated blood to the body. It starts restricting that, and it can't do it as much, and then it starts making the heart kind of work harder and over time trying to push that, and then it just starts kind of getting tired and gets weak that way. But there were 371,056 deaths of those 702,000 deaths. So that was 53% of it is just from clogged or blocked arteries and stuff. I'm on the bypass grafts that they did in mine. They bypassed those with new arteries. They took my left radial out of my wrist, and then I've got mammary arteries. They took those and did that, so it's like I've got brand new arteries. But I'm on a medication now. Just a simple medication is helping to slow that down and stuff. So that's one out of every. One of the things that really gets people's attention that way is 1 out of every 5 of those deaths is from an adult that is younger than 65 years of age. A lot of times you start talking about heart attacks and stuff, and it's the older generation and stuff, and the elderly and stuff where you have them, but it's a lot younger and younger. My dad was 36. I was 40 when I had mine.
Wow. No, I mean, I know, sorry to interrupt.
No,
but
you're good.
Did they explain to you why it happens? Is it like diet or
It's
genetic? Stress?
Unfortunately, on my end, it was a lot of genetic issues. My grandfather had a heart attack. He had open heart surgery with quadruple bypass. My father had the heart attack with open heart surgery and a triple bypass the first time. About 10 years later, he had open heart surgery again, and they did 6 bypasses. And then his brothers, my uncles, 2 of those have had heart stents, and then my dad's older brother had an open heart with quadruple bypass also. Unfortunately, he didn't survive from the hospital on that one. And then my situation, it was open heart with a triple bypass. And it's all, and ours kind of the genetic thing, and then a lot of it is cholesterol levels and just the plaque that they call it, or like the fatty acids in the body that start building on the walls of those arteries and constricting it down. So that simple blood test, just checking your cholesterol level, that tells you all kinds of vital information that way and stuff. They want your cholesterol levels to be below 200. Anything below 200 is perfect, and where they want you to be, anything between 200 and like 230, 240 is kind of getting on up there. From an early age, it was nothing for my cholesterol to be 3, 4, 500 and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I've battled that my whole life, and now even one of my checkups, I think like 6 months post op, they did blood workup and stuff, and my cholesterol after the surgery and then the medication, 6 months, my cholesterol is like, I think it was 137, lowest it's ever been in my entire life and stuff. So medication is doing its job and helping, and then trying to do the clean eating and exercising and stuff. So
wow, it makes me want to go out and book what is it called, physical.
yeah, it's just anything that anybody can do, any type of physical activity and stuff, every little thing that you can do, it only helps. Yeah, it only helps things and stuff. So, but yeah, just talking to a doctor and just taking that first step to even see where you stand. And so you may have textbook numbers and stuff and be perfect, and then just keep on living life the way you are. But if there is something, then at least it's in your head then, and you can think about it, and then every now and then just make that step. You know, I can do better here, and I can do better, and every little thing helps.
Definitely. Well, I mean, if you guys are watching, you guys already got some tips. You can go book a physical, or even just listen to yourself. Yeah. You know, I mean, our body tells us things and we ignore them sometimes. You know, and
it does. It's most of the time. You know, I'm one of those that, like when I would work out or something, I might not feel good or whatever, and I'd push through and whatever. It's just being weak or whatever, you know what? And for whatever reason that day, I wasn't being a guy and pushing through. For whatever reason, it's like I listened to my body and I stopped, and very thankful I did, because it could have been a lot worse. It could have been completely different than I.
Yeah. Is there anybody that was there that day you want to give a shout out to or whatnot?
Yeah, the guys on shift that first came and checked me and stuff was it was one of our battalion chiefs, Josh Moore, our division chief, Chris Vick, and then just some of the firefighters and paramedics, Ken Letterman, the other deputy fire marshal, Jared Patterson, but Micah Piker. I know I was talking to Tao earlier and stuff. He worked with Micah for a while and stuff. Just super great guys and stuff. Everybody is one of those things too that, and it's, you know, it's not just because I was one of them and stuff, because I've worked the calls with them and stuff. Even though they came in and joking around with me and stuff or whatever, still it was easing my mind and stuff, and treat me with the utmost respect and just best, you know, what we call bedside manners or whatever and stuff. My issue was priority number one for them and stuff, and it's not just because I was one of them. Like I said, I've worked with those guys on calls and stuff, and it's regardless of what it is, we're there to take care of whoever and stuff. So, and then after everything happened and stuff, Chief Perry and stuff just throwing me in the truck and getting me to the ER and stuff, and keeping my mind at ease and stuff that way. So
that's great. That's great that the right people were there to help you through this. You know, and I can imagine how your wife, your family. That was once everything kind of unfolded and we got to the hospital and stuff. Then my wife was there, and I mean, she never left my side until it came time for the actual surgery. And then right out of surgery, I had to spend a night in the cardiac intensive care unit under real close watch for everything and stuff. But other than that, she was there nonstop, and the kids got to come and see me and stuff. So that puts an ease to things too and stuff, just having the family there. And Definitely.
And stuff. So,
well, I mean, I don't know if you have anything else to add. If you want to share anything to the community,
just taking that first step. It's get checked out and stuff. It certainly can't hurt anything. Stuff. Definitely. It's because I'm a lot of them consider me a walking miracle to even be here and stuff, and I'm very blessed to still be here. So, listen to your body. Go, push pride aside or whatever and stuff, and just go. Just have a simple checkup done, and then that can tell you where you stand and if something needs to change.
Definitely. Well, thank you for coming and sharing your story here today. I'm happy that you're here in our community, serving us and just kind of keeping us safe, doing things the right way. So thank you for coming out and sharing. I know that it's just a blessing to have you here around, and When I first heard it, I was like, man, you got to come out, and just kind of talk about it, and so and if you heard something today, if you learned something today, go book a. Well, I mean, I don't want to scare them, but
Yeah, yeah,
book a
no,
physical.
I
I
mean,
mean,
it's
you know what's
yeah,
going on with
yeah,
you.
yeah. It's I mean, and that's what I've told everybody since then. I'm an open book to if anybody wants to know anything about what I've went through and the whole process before, leading up to, during, and then even after surgery and whatever. Because if I keep all this stuff in a way, it's not going to help anybody
Yeah,
else
true.
and stuff. And that's I mean, like that's my line of work is to help everybody and stuff or whatever. So I'm an open book to anybody.
If anybody wants to reach out, where can they reach out to you?
They can call the fire department and
Okay.
ask for me or whatever, 968-2332. That'll get in contact with me, and then I can give an email address or whatever,
Okay.
and we can talk on the phone or email or whatever. And
that's
if I don't know an answer or something's over my head and stuff, I got plenty of people I can
I'm
ask
sure you
and get
do.
them going in the right direction. So.
Hey, that's a great question. I'll call you back.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, Justin. Well, thanks for coming out,
bet.
and thank you guys for watching today on Town Square. We had Justin Smith today sharing his story, and thank you guys for watching. Once again, this podcast was brought to you by Black Belt Logistics and Roy's Heating and Cooling. Thank you guys for watching here from Town Square Studios, here inside of the Co-Create Innovation Hub, where lots of great things are happening. Thank you guys, and we'll see you guys next time.